Now, before I send you off on your own with Pug, a couple of little tips on Pug. You might have heard me say previously that things need to be tabbed in and things need to be parent and child, things like that. I want to explain that in a little more detail here. You'll remember that we used to have tags for our HTML in our very early videos, and those tags look like this. So I might have a table tag, and when I close the table tag, I need to open the table tag. I need to make sure that I close the table tag later on. Okay, you'll remember this. We didn't do a table tag, but it's an element. So every time I open a tag, I need to close one. So everything that's inside this, we would just, for good form, in HTML, we would just tab it in like that. So we would just go to where the thing opened, the table opened, and we would put in a maybe a table row, one tr, and we then need to shut that table row tag as well later on, so that anything that was inside that would be in the table row. So I'd need to do these things to close the table row, etc., etc. So by nesting, we call this nesting, so that you can sort of see that you can see this line, and VS Studio helps us a lot with this. This line helps us to say, this is where you open the tag. If you look down here, if you've done it right and everything's tabbed in nicely, you'll see that it lines up. Pug works the same way, except you don't need to close any of these, and you don't need the tag brackets here. But what you do need to be careful of is that you tab it all really nicely. So it depends on those tabs. So the same thing in Pug would look like this. It'd look like table. You just put table, table. And then to put the table row, you just hit enter and then hit the tab key and put TR. And that's how you do a table. Now, anything that you want to put into the table row, maybe you want to put a TD in there, you'd put that there, tabbed in another row, another column, and anything that belongs inside this TD tag, we'll just put some letters. Oh no, we won't put some letters. I'll just put, let's put an A and then a space and then some letters. Hi there. Anything that belongs in there must be tabbed in again. So this table now is tabbed nicely. And when you hear me say parent and child, the table is the parent of the TR tag. The TR is the parent of the TD, and this A tag goes inside. It's the child of the TD. So I want to get this all right over here underneath the button. Well, actually, I'll put it on the same level as the Jumbotron. See how it's got this line going down here, and I'll hit save here, and we'll just see what that looks like. So I've now got a table. The table's an invisible sort of thing, but you can see that it's on the its contents lives at the same level as the Jumbotron here. Now, this can be a problem if you're not careful and you don't tab anything in, especially when you're copying and pasting my snippets. So I'm going to hit delete all of this stuff and save it again. And when I refresh this page, you'll see that disappears. Look what happens though if I just tab something a little poorly. If I take this P tag here and I put a space before it, watch what happens. I'll hit save and I'll refresh this, and it tells me that there is inconsistent indentation. This is the biggest problem you'll ever have with Pug when using it. I really like Pug, but this is a pain. It's not very forgiving of inconsistent or poor indentation or tabbing. So you need to make sure you're on top of that. Especially as if it can all look okay. So this, if I save this again and refresh it, it can all look okay, but hiding down at the bottom here might be just one little space. So if I go to the next line and put a space instead of a tab and save this, watch what happens. So my code looks great there, but if I refresh this, I get an inconsistent tabbing or indentation error. So you need to be sure that you always have your code nice and neat in Pug. And a good way to do that is to make sure there's no extra lines at the end. And a good way to quickly quickly try and fix this, if you ever, is to select all of the stuff that you think is suspect. Let's say this, and just hit tab. Just select it all, hit tab, and then hit Shift tab, and that will make consistent the type of tabbing or type of indentation that is used in that block. So try those things if you ever get stuck, but be really onto Pug and its insistence that your indentation be consistent and well thought through. It's easier than tagging everything, in my view, but it is less. It's not very forgiving. Okay.